Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, Tzu Chi volunteers in Canada and the United States are holding Tzu Chi's tri-celebration of Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Global Tzu Chi Day to honor the Buddha. In China, we take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers' love and care have helped Wenchuan earthquake survivors through the past 5 years. In Yunlin, Taiwan, we meet Ding Wenling, who has become a banquet chef as a way to fulfill her filial duty. We kick off the show in Canada and the United States, where Tzu Chi's tri-celebration of Mother's Day, Buddha Day, and Global Tzu Chi Day were held at various places. But first, let's take a look at the ceremony held at the U.S. Tzu Chi headquarters in California, where 8 chefs from Pandan Express, a fast food Chinese restaurant chain, were on scene to cook delicious vegetarian meals for members of the public as a way to show their support for the Buddhist NGO. The solemn Buddha Day ceremony held at the U.S. Tzu Chi headquarters is joined by Dharma masters from various organizations. Team of doctors and community residents also participate in the ceremony, and 8 chefs from Pandan Express are also on scene to cook delicious vegetarian meals for the general public.
I think this is a great opportunity for us to show everyone the concepts we learned from Tzu Chi back in Taiwan. We hope to cook food that can touch people's hearts, just like those cooked by the Tzu Chi volunteers. Prior to the ceremony, we held 7 meetings and 3 tryouts to make sure we had the right flavor for each dish. Today we have approximately 150 volunteers who came here to help out.
Inspired by Tzu Chi, Pandan Express also turns the NGO's eco-friendly concepts into actions.
We have 2 different lines. One is for people who brought their reusable utensils, and the other one for those without utensils. We will provide reusable utensils for those without.
Since there's only one road to the U.S. Tzu Chi headquarters, many volunteers drive visitors in their own vehicles to help minimize traffic jams.
When we invited members of the public to attend the ceremony, we encouraged them to take public transport. For example, by parking their car at the bottom of the mountain and taking a shuttle bus to get here. Those with a full car can drive straight up to the venue. We also asked everyone to carpool.
At the local Tzu Chi Academy, under the guidance of their teachers, students quickly learned the movements of the ceremony. In Long Island, New York, Tzu Chi volunteers also lead community residents in a ceremony honoring the Buddha. At the Tzu Chi Dallas chapter, despite the scorching sun, volunteers follow the Buddha's chanting and move in sync with one another. At the Buddha Day celebration in Atlanta, Georgia, everyone pays respect to the Buddha with sincerity. In Canada, volunteers at the Tzu Chi West Toronto Liaison Office in Mississauga joins in the Buddha Day ceremony at the Jingsi abode in Hualien via satellite. The unstable connection does not disturb the Buddha's chanting, and the ceremony ends on a perfect note. Experts believe that the shortage of nurses in Taiwan is due to a lack of passion in the profession, and many nursing students upon graduation have second thoughts about entering the field when faced with the reality of the hard work a career in nursing entails. Zheng Yajun, head nurse of the pediatric ward at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, once felt that way, but now nursing has become a part of her life.
他嘴好可爱哦，有没有哭？啊，加强加强。
The indigenous Zheng Yajun is head nurse of the pediatrics ward at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital.
借我，手势借我，手势借我，没有痛痛。好，没有打针，没有打针，好不好？这样会痛吗？
Zheng Yajun has worked as a nurse for over 14 years. She initially chose the career because many of her relatives were also in the profession.
Because my family's financial condition wasn't that great, my relatives felt that by studying nursing and following a career in the field, I'd be able to find a steady job immediately after graduation.
After graduation in 1999, Zheng failed to obtain an internship in Kaohsiung, so she returned to eastern Taiwan to be close to her family in Taidong, ultimately landing her a job at Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital.
The reason I chose Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital is because I wanted to learn more after graduation, so I felt it would be better to work in a bigger hospital.
However, things didn't go smoothly in the beginning, as Zhen's trial period was extended by a month, and the fact that patient's family didn't seem to trust her made her want to give up.
A senior nurse told us that if we wanted to enter into the profession, we have to be determined.
That senior nurse is Lu Jiyan, supervisor of the nursing department at Hualien Tzu Hospital.
What is special about Yajun is her passion for nursing and her commitment to the field. With guidance, she gradually developed her professional skills.
With her supervisor's guidance and support, Zhen elected to study to become a nursing specialist. Though holding down a full-time job and going back to school was hard work, it all gave Zhen a great sense of accomplishment.
Being trusted by others gives me my greatest sense of accomplishment, and it's a deep trust.
Like all kids, second grader Yi Jie loves to run and play with her classmates at school. However, she has struggled with illness for quite some time. As a 1-year-old, she was stricken with leukemia. Yi Jie's mother never imagined she would be faced with such a challenge.
The word cancer is unfamiliar. People always talk about how terrifying chemotherapy is. In the beginning, I was really frightened.
As families of cancer patients move from denial to fear to not knowing what to do, they need the support of nursing personnel every step of the way.
Although a tiring experience, however, Yi Jie's mother is grateful to the nursing staff. She's often seen on Zhen's personal website, lending support to other families of leukemia patients.
The work of nursing personnel not only entails giving shots or medicine, they create a pleasant environment, so when sick kids come here, they are able to find some enjoyment and temporarily forget about their illness.
On May 12, 2008, China's Sichuan province experienced an 8.0 magnitude earthquake. It not only shook local residents but also the world. Everyone jumped to assist with rebuilding effort, and in less than 4 years, rebuilding was completed. During this time, Tzu and other NGOs arrived in China, inspired local charity organizations to flourish as well. In our next report, we take a look at how love has influenced Sichuan in the past 5 years.
How much time has passed in 5 years? There are 1,825 days in 5 years. A child can grow up in 5 years.
It's like a relay of love. Once I've received the torch, I need to pass it on.
5 years is time enough for a group of determined housewives to change the world for the better.
In rain or shine, I will be here to collect recyclables, as others have done so much for me.
It's been 5 years since the 5/12 Sichuan earthquake. Featured on a past cover of Tzu Monthly when still very little, this girl is now preparing for her middle school entrance exam. The thing that time hasn't changed is her sweet smile.
After the earthquake, I immediately felt mature. Surviving the disaster made me grow up quickly.
After the disaster hit us, I felt if Tzu can overcome obstacles to help us, then why can't we stand on our own?
The Sichuan earthquake attracted the attention of the entire world. Besides sending financial assistance, countless non-government organizations also arrived in Sichuan, spreading their seeds of kindness to the hearts of local residents.
I want to be a volunteer to help others. Because of the earthquake, people came to help us. I want to help others in order to reciprocate that love.
The Sichuan earthquake also united China, provinces helping other provinces. The changes can be seen in rural developments.
This is a major traffic artery here in Shifang. The road was then under repairs when the Sichuan earthquake happened, and that caused much delay in the delivery of medical assistance to disaster survivors. Afterwards, Beijing's local government took over repairs, and the construction work was completed in just 3 months. It shortens the travel time from Shifang to Chengdu in just an hour.
The world sent their love to us. Without everyone's great love, Sichuan would not have recovered so fast.
The Sichuan earthquake also drew in many countries' non-governmental organizations to help, thus influencing a boom in local NGOs. From the start of the rebuilding efforts until their completion, the Tzu Chi Foundation has been there every step of the way. And what has it actually accomplished in these past 5 years? In Shifang Luoshui Middle School, there is a teacher who bows to the students.
I used to be really strict, as that's the way it's been. But as society changes, teaching methods must also change, as just being strict and firm is no longer all we need to be. The real task of being a teacher is to be a part of students' lives and care about them as a person. He reminds us often to practice recycling and also teaches us not to give up on ourselves.
There was a while when I was in an argument with my mother, and my teacher helped us get past the fight. I'm very grateful he did that.
After the disaster, people started helping each other. It really is a strange phenomenon. So I feel that if I have the ability, then I must help. It's just that simple.
Meanwhile, in the bustling city of Chengdu, someone appears to be collecting another's trash like valuable treasure.
When I met Tzu Chi at the age of 50, it was a turning point in my life. Look, there was a large gathering here.
She often comes to pick up trash. She's lessening the planet's burden.
I don't mind picking up dirty items as I can just wash my hands when I go home. In the past, I would also pretend not to see the trash, but now I realize there was so much treasure I was missing. Can you pass that trash to me, please? Your help is greatly appreciated by Mother Earth.
Qin Jian isn't the only one whose life has changed since meeting Tzu Chi. In Hanwang, Mianzhu City, a group of seniors have rescheduled their farming time, their sutra chanting time, and mahjong playing time to collect recyclables around their neighborhood.
In the past, I would only go to the temple to pray for peace. Now I collect recyclables. I still visit temples on the 1st and 15th to pray with everyone, but I will come do recycling with others during the other times.
Things from cooking oil to rice to chopsticks and drinking water were given to me, so it doesn't matter what's going on. I will come here to practice recycling, as others have given me so much.
What is love and what can love accomplish?
So many people have helped me, and I also want to do my part to help, to give back to society.
In the face of natural disasters, the power of love may not look like much, but accumulated over time, it has the power to restore people's lives and assist them in finding a new direction.
Oftentimes, when children want to be filials to their parents, the parents might no longer be around. It is therefore important to seize the moment to honor our parents. Today, we introduce you to the story of Ding Wenling. She hated manual labor and working in a hot and oily environment, but is now a successful banquet chef in Taiwan's Yunlin County because of her love for her father.
Many people may still be unaware that my father has passed on. They only knew he was a banquet chef.
In In a kitchen about 26 square meters in size, Ding Wenling and her husband quietly prepares a banquet big enough to feed 100 people. The tranquility is more than just a manifestation of their seamless partnership.
Through preparing a banquet with my husband, we pay homage to my father, how he taught us how long to cook a dish, what to fry first and at what temperature, and how much of which ingredients to use. This is how we reminisce about the time we spent together.
Wenling's father, Ding Zhongde, was a popular banquet chef in Yunlin County's Taixi Township. Even when in the final stage of throat cancer, he insisted on passing on all he knew.
Every time I pick up that giant spatula, I remember how my father-in-law, in his weakened state after his surgery and unable to speak, still proceeded to teach me. Though he taught slowly, it was still tiresome for him. He would also write down the order in which each ingredient was to be cooked.
During Ding Zhongde's 4-year battle with cancer, his daughter and son-in-law came back to help and thus learned the trade. Before they knew it, the young couple were already in too deep.
I always hated doing this kind of job. It required heavy manual labor, like picking up those steaming baskets or welding a giant spatula, not to mention having to wear an apron because it's so oily. Then I remembered how my dad just lit up whenever he talked about cooking, so I really wanted to learn to make dishes just as my father made them.
Each movement reminds the couple of their father's love, bringing them closer together and strengthening their resolve to keep the banquet business going.
For 3 months after my dad had passed on, we weren't getting any orders. Often we thought, this is it and it is time to give up. But then we wanted to keep my father's memory alive, so we just hankered down and persisted. Somehow bravado set in and we took my father's dishes, packaged them primitively and sold them as takeouts. We told people that these banquet dishes were taught to me by my father.
Takeouts and food delivery are new ways to promote the old business. Now the business has grown bigger than when Ding Zhongde was around. Permeating from the kitchen are not only the savory fragrance of each dish, but also thoughts for a loved one.
Today, my father's things like the spatula, kitchenware, and cookware have all been left to me to use. They have been around for more than 2 decades and are still usable, but my father is no longer around. I really want to treasure the things he left behind.
Ding Wenling remembers her beloved father as a scrupulous master. Celebrating her father's culinary passion, she continues to spread happiness and fill hungry mouths with her father's recipes.
Next, we meet 70-year-old Mrs. Ling in Taichung's Fengyuan district. In spite of having sustained arm and shoulder injuries in accidents and wearing any prosthesis, she still insists on caring for her son, who has been semi-paralyzed by a stroke. To pay for medical bills, Mrs. Ling works part-time as a dishwasher in a local restaurant. She and her son have been listed as Tzu Chi Care recipients, but recently, Mrs. Ling has requested that the money Tzu Chi give her be used to help others in greater need.
Giving her son a hand, Ms. Lin assists her son in daily living.
He can't raise this hand. His arteries are blocked, so when I massage his arms, it hurts.
Ms. Lin could have never anticipated that her strapping gregarious son would be struck down by a stroke.
I went upstairs and his bedclothes were a mess. After his stroke, he lost control of his bowels and bladder.
Even though her joints and bones cause her considerable pain, this mother remains devoted to the care of her son.
I have broken my shoulders, so I have no strength in my arms. This knee has been replaced with a prosthesis. This one needs to be replaced as well. And I also broke my wrist before in a fall.
In spite of her pain, the 70-kilo mother helps her 120-kilo son to his feet.
After the stroke, his temper took a turn for the worse, so I have to be strong.
Widowed 20 years earlier, Ms. Lin raised her son to adulthood all by herself. Just when she thought she could lay her burden down, her son was paralyzed by a stroke.
There's a lot I can't do for myself. I have to rely on my mom.
还没煮菜耶，好辛苦。
It's hard work. Sometimes I just get under the covers and cry, but we have to face whatever life brings us.
转过来，肚掉啊。
Bolstered by the strength of motherly love, Miss Lin works part-time as a dishwasher to cover medical expenses.
4 hours a day, I just endure the pain of my aches.
一天爱甲伊落步较严，一天就会当积少成多，当救比咱搁较艰苦的啦。
他就跟我说：“师姐，我已经3
Mrs. Ling said to me that I've received financial aid for 3 months and that's enough. I'd like the money to go towards others in need.
Despite their current conditions, this family carries on the tradition of love and filial devotion.
妈，你辛苦了。
Words of thanks and a warm embrace brings a smile to Miss Lin's face. All the pain and hardship are no match for this moment of love and caring.
Prior to Mother's Day, Zhonghe and Yonghe Tzu Chi volunteers in New Taipei City both organized events to promote filial piety. Through puppet shows, interactive activities, and serving tea to parents, children all realized their parents' hardship in raising a family and vowed to do whatever they could to ease their parents' burden.
A puppet show with a message of filial piety successfully catches the children's attention and gives these youngsters ideas on ways to carry out their filial duties. The interactive activities are also a way to increase family bonding.
From now on, I will help Mom more often with household chores. Whatever she wants me to do, I will do it right away.
Members of the Zhonghe parent-child class are all learning a valuable lesson through today's event. Meanwhile, the parent-child class in Yonghe invited Tzu Chi volunteers to share their experiences in raising their own children. Upon receiving handmade ornaments from their kids, these mothers were all deeply moved. One parent who was diagnosed with cancer speaks of how her children gave her the strength to fight her illness.
Over the past 2 months, I feel that my children have become more sensible.
While other parents say the parent-child class has brought them closer together.
I believe all the unhappy matters have been resolved today.
Besides parents and children, Tzu Chi volunteers also seized the opportunity to express their gratitude to their own parents. The daughter of the host takes her mother's words to heart and immediately shows her love. Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Xinru couldn't be more grateful to have the opportunity to walk the Tzu Chi path with her mother.
When I touch her face, I suddenly realize she's getting old and has more wrinkles. I think she really contributed a lot to our family.
Tzu Chi volunteers hope that participants of today's event don't just express their love on Mother's Day, but every other day of the year as well.
We go back to China at the end of the show, where Tzu Chi Suzhou Grants held a blessing ceremony and charity fair to raise funds and pray for those who suffer from the Ya'an earthquake. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.